All right, all right, all right. It's that time again. So, welcome back. If you're my regular listener, viewer, and of course, watcher, or of course, if this happens to be your first time here, welcome. And before I go any further, my name is Rahul George, India's premier self hypnosis coach and your personal guide. So, as always, it's taken, you know, the whole day of experiencing life. And as the day sort of draws to an end, typically there's a theme, there's a word, there's a topic that emerges, and today is no different. So I was thinking about my journey in the space of learning digital marketing, because at the end of the day, as digital coaches, meaning coaches who are present online, coaches who um, do a lot of our work online, right? I'll definitely say that I was very fortunate to have got into the idea that, okay, I will do my coaching, my consulting on screen rather than, traveling to a place physically to do it. And this was before COVID happened. So obviously, once we've all been there, once COVID happened, and then things got to a point where eventually, we knew that life had to go on. And so people, when I say people, it could be, our associates, it could be clients, students, everybody kind of tuned into the idea that, okay, you know, if we have to do this work on screen, I have to meet my coach on screen, so be it, right? If I have to attend classes and it's going to be online on screen, so be it. So my point being that um, along the way, we have become, maybe a lot of us were trainers, especially in the 90s and more importantly in the 2000s. So we're at a point now where we're all digital coaches, right? And the beautiful part today is that, when you look at the areas of life, like what I like to call the 5 streams, right? Whether it's health, wealth, relationships, spirituality, or even purpose. Um, if one of these areas, or maybe a combination of these areas, is your area of speciality, the fact is that you still need, I say need in quotes, you still need to know how digital marketing works. And so I've been on that journey literally since 2016. So that's a good, at this time of recording. And of course, this also depends on where you're consuming this. Maybe you're watching this as a video pod, or maybe you're listening to this as a pod, or you happen to be watching this live on my Facebook page. What's more important is that, it's definitely been more than a handful of years. I think at this point it's about 2016, so it's about 7 years since this is being recorded in 2023. And one thing I can tell you is that, I've done many experiments, I've made many mistakes, I've learned a lot along the way. And today, literally, I think just yesterday or today, I got an update of, like, it's been now officially more than 200 days of creating content every day. So these are all little reminders that, I've definitely traveled on this path. I've been around now, like, been around the block for a bit. And that sort of got me thinking, because, and I'm going to share this with you, I'm going to be very open with you on this, that somehow for me personally, um, recording reels has always been, when I say always, it's not been something that I really connect with on the face of it, because maybe the way, typically our when I say our, as in as digital coaches, our um, formula is something that I don't truly connect with. And for those of you in the business, you know what I'm talking about, right? There's the question, there's the story, there's the opportunity for people to connect with us, and I don't think there's any um, shame in talking about it, because this is what is most important for us to be able to create that attention in the minds of people who genuinely need our help, right? Because at the end of the day, we've all come to realize that we all need help, right? We need help as digital coaches. We need help as um, people out there in the world who have recognized that they can't go on living the lives that they had hoped to have built over the last maybe 15 or 20 years, right? And especially post COVID, there's been this great awakening amongst a lot of people, right? And so, it's like mental health, um, and more than mental health, the realization that life is, while life is, time is timeless, but life is, it has a certain finiteness to it, right? So if people never really thought about their, um, how long they're going to be living, they're going to be around today post COVID, a lot of people have had that awakening. So they need us more than ever before. Now, why am I saying all of this? Just to preface it for you, just to frame this for you. For me, it's like, uh, like I said, I've now been doing these lives for more than 6 months, literally every single day. So there's a certain comfort, there's a certain knowing, there's a certain ease that I feel now, as compared to maybe in the initial phase or initial days where I really was kind of figuring stuff out. And even today, I'm sure in many ways, I'm figuring things out, knowing, known and unknown. But when it came to doing reels, this was something that I wasn't very happy with the way, um, let's say, with the map that was available for how to shoot reels, right? Because it it just felt the most awkward. So what was interesting for today's topic, so this is like a slightly longer preamble, but necessary nonetheless, right? So what I came to realize, and especially today, what struck me was that these blocks that we face as coaches, especially as coaches, because um, this kind of work that we're doing, it's not your everyday run of the mill kind of mindset that we have, right? We see greatness in others, we see greatness in ourselves, and it's like every single day we are striving, we are intending to really be able to um, make a difference in other people's lives, make a difference in our own lives, right? Because remember, at the end of the day, as digital coaches, as coaches, if we aren't able to make a difference in our own lives, there's only so much of change that we'll be able to create in the lives of others, right? So this is where like this topic really kind of like popped in my mind, which is, um, we have blocks, but when we break them, we thrive, right? And that, for me, I've noticed now for years and years and years, I've always wanted to be able to create content and to be able to create content consistently. And today, that's something that I don't have to rack my brains about anymore. There may be some days where the topics just kind of come faster. There may be some days where I need to think a little bit about it, or just, you know, allow the topic to come to me. But what's important is that I know that before the day is over, there will be a pod, or there will be, um, a live that has been created, right? And that is a very comforting thought. That is a very powerful thought, and a belief. And literally, it's like success breeds success, right? So because I've done one before, I'm doing one now. Because I've done three before, I'm doing one now, right? And because I've done this, tomorrow when I reflect back on today and the days gone by, it just reminds me that, hey, I got this. Right? I know how to do this. So it's one more skill that I have built over a period of time. Now, what's interesting is yesterday, for a change, I just kind of had this idea of what to record and more importantly, how to record a um, a, a reel. And of course, if at the time of listening to this, if you just go one day before, you'll see it on my various handles, right? It's there on Instagram, it's there on Facebook. So what's important is that I discovered that, you know, I said I found I've kind of like found the early phase of my formula to be able to create heartfelt reels, not sort of, and especially, all you digital coaches out there, if you are listening to this, you know exactly what I mean. That there are a lot of formats and there are a lot of formulas, but they feel kind of forced and contrived, right? It works for a lot of people, but if you're like me, you've spent your time, um, and your money and your intention, learning tools and tech, and having worked with mentors to learn these various skills, but you still feel weird. You still, you're like, I don't want to do that, right? The difference is you probably haven't yet figured out what you do want to do, but you're clear about what you don't want to do. And I I can definitely say that I feel your pain. I have been there, and now more and more, having stuck it out, been here now for a couple of years, more than a couple of years, I know for a fact that even this will pass, provided of course you stick with whatever is coming up for you. And it's like day on day, month on month, and year on year. Eventually, when you kind of stick with it, when you stick with it in some form or the other, there will come a point in time where you find your formula, right? So for me, I definitely know now I'm in that zone where I found my formula. And I know that at the end of this pod, I will record another reel, but it'll be done literally. I'm like doing it on my terms, where I know I'm able to truly connect with what I'm saying. And I know for people who are watching this, especially in my case, it is digital coaches. I'm sure in your case, when you do this long enough, you will find a format that truly works for you, right? So, like I said, today the topic is all about break through your blocks and thrive, right? So, as long as you're willing to, do the hard work, which is self-reflection, which is looking within, uh, realizing that some days, you don't end up recording. Some days or some weeks, months, sometimes years, you may put it off, right? And no matter what people tell you on the outside, I can tell you this from personal experience, that no matter what people tell you, no matter how logical it might seem, that, hey, why don't you do this? Or, hey, use this formula. Eventually, as long as you're willing to give yourself the time and space, you will be able to, overcome whatever it is that's your block, right? For some people, it's video. For some people, it is formula. Doesn't matter what it is, right? A block is a block. But the beautiful part is that when you are able to go beyond it, you will start to find yourself connecting to something deeper, and you'll truly be able to, because I can feel that now, like literally, like I'll give you a classic example, right? I'm looking at my screen and I've got a couple of points that I've listed out, uh, but I'm not reading off it, nor am I, and like I said, because it's a screen, so which means I actually can't even see myself on camera. I know there's a point on my laptop screen, which is the equivalent of me, actually talking to you, because right now I am connecting to you. I know that. And I'm sure if you're, listening to this in the pod, um, wherever you may be consuming it, I'm sure somewhere you feel that, yeah, you and I are having this conversation. Because if you're consuming it as a video, it's like me, looking to you, looking at you, and saying this to you that if you've had this struggle till now, I get it, right? And I'm not saying just because you've heard this pod that all will be well and everything is cured. No, but just remember that this is part of your journey. That if you believe in the universe, if you believe in um, there are no happenstances, right? That there are no mistakes. Everything happens for a reason. Then this becomes one more of those steps on your way to, for you to be able to overcome whatever those thoughts, those ideas, those beliefs that you've had about, fill in the blank, right? It may be about, like I said, writing. It may be about, you know, recording a course, whatever it is, right? So I can tell you this, that allow, I would say, just if you allow yourself to be okay with being not okay, right? So even if you're like, okay, other people around me are going ahead and, oh, they're like less qualified or, less fill in the blank, whatever that is. But see, oh my God, they're like going ahead of me, right? All I'll say is that's okay. Because as long as you're looking at what you're doing as something for the long term, this is sort of like that classical hare and the tortoise, right? So it's like your conscious mind, your monkey mind is like the hare, right? Like the rabbit that's running. And then from time to time it'll pause and then it'll be like, okay, now I think I can just chill for a bit because anyway, the tortoise, meaning your unconscious mind, your subconscious, is anyway not going to do anything, right? So there's no need to worry. There's no need to be, to be on the lookout. But there'll come a moment, which is like me. In fact, today, as I was in the kitchen, um, you know, washing a couple of dishes, in that one moment, I just kind of like, there's this thought that flashed in my mind, and I'm like, yeah, like now making reels is easy for me, right? Now, sometimes we can have that kind of an aha moment um, when we're, attending a course or something like that, or, when we're um, doing self work, or sometimes it can be just in a completely random moment where everything that we've been doing till that point has stacked up and stacked up and stacked up. And then it's like literally like this is the tipping point. And then you suddenly start to see these miracles in all areas of your life. So as I start to, as they say, land the plane, meaning as I start to wrap up this live, this pod, right? I just want to say, thank you for everything that you do. And because it's like I'm not like one solo coach that's out there doing stuff and talking about possibilities. I know there are so many of us that are doing this work. It's truly universal. It's truly something spiritual, because what we're doing is not just for our own benefit. We're doing this for the benefit of others. So I know for a fact that this is making a difference in the lives of so many. So this is my prayer to you that continue to do what you're doing. And even if there is a block that you've had till now, and even if right now you're like, but that block is still there, I can tell you this, it's okay. Because sooner or later, but eventually, even that block will literally, take you to a point, to the edge. And then as you step over, you won't even recognize that you've stepped over because it'll be already done. And then you're in the space of thrive, right? You're in the space of thriving, of feeling good about yourself. So just wanted to let you know that you're not alone in this, right? We're all doing this together. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I have community, why I have finally come around to the fact that as coaches we need community. So in my way, I have, of course, created a community. And the this is under the umbrella of the brand, which is called I Hypnosis. Because when I do the work that I do, right, it's like literally my tagline is that I can help you, I can teach you to maximize your market value. So, maximize your market value means that you already possess all the skills that you need, right? Whether it is tools or tech, or even having, been mentored by coaches in the past. But what's important is that now is that time where you can tap into your subconscious and make those shifts in your mind. And that's where I come in, which is to say that, you know, if you're somebody who's not been able to do it for yourself, then this is that place where I will teach you self hypnosis so that you can find those answers. Because I'm not going to tell you, what is uh, your formula or whatever. No, that's, I believe that you will be able to find that. It's just about being able to use self hypnosis to be able to tap into that, to be able to tap into your subconscious, because you've always had moments in the past where you had that experience, right? The aha moment, the eureka moment. My intention is that you have more of that access all the time. So, two things that I've done. One is, of course, I run a workshop on Saturdays. It's called Mera Number Kab Aayega, aptly titled, because especially for us coaches where we've already done a lot of the work, but things are not yet clicking, right? Um, and we genuinely have that feeling of mera number kab aayega, like why is it that I am not able to succeed while so many around me have gone, quote unquote, ahead of me, right? We generally feel like, all these people have gone ahead of me, right? I'm far more qualified. I'm far more tenured. Like I've been doing, coaching and training for many, many years. But why is it that they are succeeding and I am not, right? And what does that measure? One of them is that we look at the bank balance and we're going, I've spent so much of money on my training, right? On buying tools, learning technology, right? Going for innumerable, like countless masterminds and whatnot. But somewhere I haven't been able to turn that corner. And for me, that's where I've had that aha moment, having, like I said, been doing this now for several years. So I know that now I'm at that point where what I have been able to learn, which is to go within, is what I teach you. So the combination of what I do, like I said, my brand is I hypnosis, but what I teach you is self hypnosis. And when I teach you that, I'm using a combination of hypnosis and hypnotherapy, but teaching you the skills that you need so that you can use self hypnosis to truly be able to tap into your own power. And when you're able to do that, you'll start to notice that there are shifts in your life. And again, these are shifts that will not be just in one area, they will be in all the 5 areas of your life. So, this is my wish for you, that if this is something that you genuinely believe that you need help with, please, just it's pretty simple. One is, of course, you can join my free Facebook group, which is called Self Hypnosis Mastermind. You'll find us on Facebook. And once you join that, you will obviously get more information about the Saturday workshop. And of course, if you come to my page, you will find a link to sign up and come for the self hypnosis, the Mera Number Kab Aayega workshop, which is essentially self hypnosis 101, like the basics of self hypnosis. And at the time of this recording, I think in about a week's time, it will become a paid workshop. So if you happen to be listening to this before I think it's the 22nd, do take advantage of, yeah, that's right. Today's the 15th of July. I'm dating this particular pod. But after the 22nd, the workshops will become paid. So if you're meant to be listening to this before the 22nd of July 2023, please take advantage of this and, click on the link. And I'd love to see you live. It is on Zoom. So come and ask your questions, and more importantly, learn the basics of self-hypnosis and see how this will make a difference to you, especially in the context of the blocks that you're dealing with, right? So with that, I shall wrap up today's pod. I want to thank you for your energy, because it's because of your intention that um, it's like a signal from out there, from the universe, that comes to me, and that keeps me going day on day. So I want to thank you once again. And yeah, I definitely look forward to seeing you live, seeing you in the group. And if you feel that you want to keep going, you want to learn this as a skill, there is a way. I do have a paid membership. And of course, when you come for um, for the workshop on Saturday, I will share with you more details about how that membership works, and you know what we do. But keeping it very simple, um, in the paid membership, we do. I work with the group, with the community twice a week. I do this live, and then of course they get to continue to work with each other. To you know, I support all of you, but more importantly, it's like you get an accountability partner, and you get to work the skills. You get to um, practice the skills so that you can truly be able to get better at using self hypnosis to go within and find those answers, right? To really understand, like, okay, why is it that I have this block, right? Maybe it's about money, maybe it's about relationships, maybe it's about loving and accepting yourself, maybe it's about really wondering, okay, I do all of this, but like, why am I doing it, right? So these are some of the questions that I've heard people ask. These are some of the questions that you yourself might be asking yourself. And so when you get a chance to reflect, I can promise you this, that if you connect with this medium, which is self hypnosis, and you feel that shift, by practicing it, you're only going to get better. All right. Okay, so with that, I will wrap this pod. I want to thank you once again, especially for those of you who are still here listening towards the end. This is the part where I tell you a little bit about how you can be part of the community. So if you're here, it means already that you're not just a run of the mill coach. You genuinely want to make that shift in your life. And a lot of more and more now coaches who are starting to experience that in our community. So look forward to seeing you in it. But in the meantime, and as always, I will be back tomorrow for another pod. And remember, as always, to live with purpose. So have a wonderful day ahead, a week ahead, depending on when you're listening to this. And wish you all the best. God bless, and see you in the next one.